Good afternoon. It's Anthony Mento here at Life Brokerage, and good morning to the folks on Central Mountain and Pacific time. Today's call will be recorded, so no need to take notes. I just made a joke, but there's a lot of truth behind it that I think the panelists on today's webinar will, in fact, write more premium in 2022 than small insurance companies. So this is the first. So that, we put out a lot of educational content, and the craving and the feedback that I get from the audience is, hey, we want to hear about what other people are doing. What are other successful agents doing? And I would purposely put this panel together today and titled the webinar, the Top Agent Webinar. It's not what they sell, but how they sell. And there are two different camps on today's call, two different philosophical beliefs in product and strategy. But at the end of the day, it's really habits, behavior, education that really makes the difference. And it's a personal favor to me and to our company that these gentlemen have joined us. We have Harry Armon, Bobby Hotaling, Glen Golish, and Vince Diodona. And what I thought, rather than scroll through a bunch of slides and be more professor-like, I thought we'd have some more fun with back and forth banter with some very pointed questions about their practice, what makes them successful, and where we see the industry going, because the industry has certainly gone through some changes over the last several years. So, I'm going to make a quick introduction to each of the gentlemen who were gracious enough to join our panel. And just briefly, what type of clients do you serve? What's your product of choice? What strategies and planning ideas that generate the largest premium for your practice? And we'll start with Harry.
Anthony, thanks for having me, and thank you to everyone else for participating. As you know, I've become a convert to the IUL marketplace. I spent 25 years as a business owner. My first 5 years in this business, or 5 good years at Mass Mutual, 5 years at Ameriprise, and I'm back to being independent, and have a strong belief from seeing all the products that IUL properly funded is a very strong planning vehicle. Key being properly funded and post 7702 changes. From a funding standpoint, from my business owner background, I believe that using the proper leverage and acquiring any business asset is how you grow assets. And there's no reason not to use low-cost bank financing to acquire large life insurance policies when they're used for the right purpose for clients. And a 1 minute time limit is hard for any of us who sell life insurance. But I think one of the big things that I focused on early in this career is that I don't sell based on fear. Most of my clients are business owners. Most of them have ADD, and most of them think they can get through anything bad in their lives. So it's all about selling aspirational. How do we build net worth? How do we build a legacy? How do we turn a legacy into a dynasty? And then very obviously to all of us on the call, I believe that there is no more tax efficient asset class than properly designed, properly funded life insurance. So it's just about using all of that in the psychology of the business owner mindset that has been able to drive a lot of revenue for me.
Thank you, Harry. Vince, same question. Type of client served, product of choice, strategies, planning ideas that generate the largest premium for your practice.
So I'm in the high wealth space. My average client's worth probably about probably about $40 million today. I sell whole life insurance. I am, I believe, still the leader of total life insurance, whole life insurance face amount at the Guardian at $2.3 billion of face. Premium paying face. There's some other stuff that's not premium paying, but premium paying face. And what I found is that in the, well, actually, AJ, so 70% of my clients are business owners. Probably 25% are real estate investors. And like in a Venn diagram, there's some overlap there. But when I talk about real estate investors, I mean people who are in the real estate business owning real estate. And then about 5% are hedge fund managers. And that's mostly because I'm not crazy about that as a group. But that's where the money is in the United States, right? So what I found is that those people will pay premiums, and they'll pay lots of premiums, and they'll continue to pay even past offset points when they understand what life insurance does. My largest case for a real estate investor was $2.3 million of annual recurring premium, base premium. There was a financing that was done initially on that case. The financing has been taken out with, strategically, it was taken out with assets and income from real estate portfolios. So there was no free insurance involved here. And the client is happy as a clam and understands the asset anymore. So my practice is kind of like a barbell right now, because I'm also working with regular folk. What I've learned is that at 64, having a practice that's not transferable is not a brilliant idea. And yes, I've made a fortune over my lifetime, but there's no there. I could teach you everything there is to know about estate planning, AJ. You're a smart guy, but there's nothing you could do for my clients after you took them over, except for maybe replace the business, which I would never let you do. I'd come back from the dead to haunt you, right? So, when you deal with
Vince. Believe
what's
Vince.
that?
I would believe Vince that you would definitely do that.
Yeah. So I think that having a younger practice where there's a continuous need for life insurance and the sale of life insurance is a nice balance. I'm not turning away estate planning cases. I still do them. I just finished off 4 of them this year so far. I work less than I used to, but I think I'm interested in that game, and I'm interested in helping people.
Thank you, Vince. Glenn, same question. Type of client served, product of choice, strategies, planning ideas?
So I've been pretty blessed in this business as well as the other guys and the panelists. And I can tell you that, I really don't have a product of choice. Do I tell you that I sell a lot more whole life than I sell anything else? Absolutely. But I realize that, when you're, in the estate planning world, that there's a lot of guaranteed UL and some other products that need to be, shown to the client at the right time, at the right place. We did a huge case last year where there was a guaranteed UL, but with a return of premium. And that was a huge opportunity that really was perfect for that client. So, I'm a big believer there is no such thing as a product of choice, that you really have to be flexible with the client, even though, my practice has definitely, sold a lot more whole life insurance. I've got at least just slightly over $2 billion in face amount. So on the books that I personally have written, and I've been very blessed. I wrote 2 $10 million premiums, which is, a huge success, and win for for a career, and they're lifetime career cases. You never know if you'll ever do them again. You hope you do, but you don't know if you ever will. And so that was a real blessing. And those were both done with whole life, guaranteed product, 10 pay, and both with premium financing. So, I think my business, as Anthony, is really all over the place. In the fact that I'll typically work with a client that's, $1 million of income and up, with 50 million of assets, or that I think last year, all the clients we worked on were at least 100 million and up. And, I have, I guess, 3 billionaires that I'm pretty lucky to have. And I think that from a planning standpoint, that's really the key, is that when you do the planning, then you can really determine what's the best product for them.
Thank you, Glenn. We're going to dig into that a little bit later in the discussion. Let's turn to Bobby. Bobby, a little bit of a more diversified practice. What type of clients do you serve, and product of choice? Any strategies and ideas that generate larger premiums for your practice?
Yeah, so I guess we all share similar clientele on how we operate. The only difference, I do a significant amount in the sports entertainment space, but other than that, it's in the small business owner, real estate owners. I would say I'm predominantly an IUL guy, but I do write a good amount of whole life. I love writing big term cases. So, Anthony, as you know, I love collecting term policies, and I sell a tremendous amount of it. UL is a changing market right now as we're all watching what's going on out there. So moving a little bit more to the VUL with the guarantee on it. But our clientele is very diverse. I take a different approach to it. I take a tax strategy plan. We have a benefits company and a significant P&C company that we built. So a lot of times what we're doing is we're going in and we're dealing with clients on all aspect of the insurance where they touch and need. Not really driven on a particular sector per se on the business side. And that's basically it. I mean, there's no product that I love selling whole life really only when I'm going to get it on a pre-tax basis. So if I could sell whole life with pre-tax dollars, I'll do it. Other than that, it's going to predominantly be the other products. We do get involved on the premium finance side as well as just traditional insurance. So that's the makeup of what we do.
Thank you, Bobby. So we're going to dig in a little bit here, and the panel has been prepped with these questions so a couple of days in advance, so they've had some time to think about it. Along the lines of helping younger agents or agents who just maybe haven't reached their potential. Bobby, give us some insight into a day in the life of Bobby Hotaling, and describe for us if there are any habits you employ or that you feel have made a positive impact on your growth and your success.
I think today's generation, and not to be the old guy, but basically the work ethic is really the significant difference, and the will to win and desire to win. So, I get up every day at 5:13 in the morning, except on the weekend. Sometimes I'll sleep until 6, 7 o'clock, but every day in the week I'm up at 5:13, and I do that every single day. My clock goes off, and my motto is that when I came into this business, I was going to outwork everybody and I can outsmart them. And now I just outwork people and outsmart them. And my motto is I never lose. I've never lost a case. And when I say that, not in a cocky way, I say that because I just never give up. So if I don't get the case today, I'll track that client down for the next 5, 7, 10 years. But eventually I'll get them. And the differential is that I don't just do life insurance. So if I'm not getting them on the life side, I'm going to get them on their personal lines, their commercial lines. I'm going to get their title insurance. I'm going to get something, and I'm going to make them a client. And then I'll just be like Pac-Man, and I'll go up and I'll eat the rest of it. And I'm never in a rush. And the big difference is, I'll have 1,000 things going on at a time. So it's never pressure to the client. And when things happen, it'll ultimately happen on the client's time. So it's just really perseverance and never giving up.
Thanks, Bobby. Glenn, same question. Give us some insight into a day in the life of Glen Golish, outside of the fact that you live in sunny Boca and you play golf at a beautiful golf course. But are there any habits that you employ that have made a positive impact on your growth and your success?
So thanks for the question. So I've been pretty blessed. Listen, I got, a lot of my mentoring from Sid Friedman, who's, one of the top, if not one of the best life insurance guys in the world. And so a lot of what I got from him. I, learned some stuff from Vince. I'll give Vince some credit as well, who's on the phone with us. And I think that we've been pretty blessed in this business to be able to, to have an amazing business. But I will tell you that from a habit standpoint, for me, it's pretty simple. I'm very focused. I'm crazy. And when it comes to doing what I need to do every day, it's very focused. I don't get up at 5:13 in the morning. You'll never see me get up at 5:13 in the morning, but I do get up at 6:30 every day without a clock. And I go to bed at 12:30 every night. And it's like clockwork for me. I literally I got to fall asleep by 12:30 and I automatically wake up without an alarm clock at 6:30. And what happens when I wake up? I wake up like a lion, and people, I'm not trying to convert to anybody on the phone, but I will tell you that anybody who's heard me speak before, knows that this is who I really am. There's a prayer that we do. It's a Modeh Ani Lefanecha prayer. We do it every single morning. We wake up and we literally get up and we wake up like a lion. And my idea is you can wake up and just like hit the snooze button and you can be, thank you very much. Just keep snoozing, and then wake up and say, wait, do I really want to get up today? Or you can wake up like a lion and attack the day and be the best that you can possibly be. And that's what I do. And my brain is automatic every single day talking about that. Then, every single, I do pray 3 times a day. So I have that, that structure to my day. But I think from a Monday standpoint, it's going to give you a better understanding of what my week looks like. Monday, I come right in after prayers, and I'm right into a meeting with my staff to make sure that we look at last week, this week, and the following week to make sure that we didn't miss anything, to make sure that anything else we got to prep for the week, so I can give to my team. I'm very blessed. I have an incredible, amazing team. Most people in the insurance business don't do that right away, and I think that was a habit that was given to me from first day in the business. Go out and hire a secretary, and now I have a huge team that works for me, and with a lot of blessings, they're great, and they really help me make sure that I'm very organized. So my Mondays are typically phoning like crazy and making sure everything gets done. So I'm organizing the week and making sure it's all neat and perfect. And, a lot of my week is also mixed in with a lot of charitable work. So different than it was when I first started in the business, where it was just Mondays I would phone like crazy from early in the morning till late at night. Now it's, I'm mixing a lot of my charity work into it. But I work crazy. I think Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, I put in very, very long hours. On Wednesday and Friday, I work, half days, maybe maybe not even a half day, maybe a third of the day, and I golf every Wednesday and Friday afternoon. And then that's the benefit of living in sunny Florida, as you put it. But I definitely use the whole 3-day focus day, buffer day, concept. I do have 2 business coaches. One is really more of a personal coach to kind of help me keep my head clear, and the other one's really a business coach that Steve D'Annunzio, I've known for years. I used him for years, and I got rid of him, and I brought him back because he really is very helpful. And but having the 2 coaches for me has been been very helpful. But the focused days is really what it's all about. I think that's the habits.
Great tip, Glenn. And that's that you're a product of the strategic coach, right? The dance, you're a student of Dan Sullivan, which a lot of successful insurance producers, have are disciples of and employ some form of that strategy.
Like Vince, because I know I've spoken to Vince about some of this stuff in the past. I've done it all. I've done EST, I've done spring, Life Spring. I've done them all. Whatever's available out there, I'm not afraid to try it. To try and make myself better, so I can be better for myself, my family, my clients. I'm in. So.
Thanks, Glenn. All right, let's move on to networking. We're going to hear from Vince and Harry, and Vince, we'll start with you. So give us an idea on how you find your target market. And Vince, you have undoubtedly given a lot back to the industry, and reached out to younger agents and general agents like myself back in my 20s. And describe how you used your educational accomplishments and industry advocacy to reach networks you may have otherwise not ever reached.
Did I really meet you when you were in your 20s? Is that true?
24, Vince, and you laughed at me when I tried to pitch you on defined benefit plans.
Oh, God. I remember that conversation. Anyway, so I guess, I got my CLU and CHFC in 83, my master's in 86, and every few years I get another designation, mostly there's very little I learned from designations, but I do that to fill in gaps and maybe language in the domain. So I have an RICP from the American College. I have the Certified Exit Planner and Certified Exit Planning Advisor designations about exit planning. But what you speak to, I am less concerned about me doing business than I am about helping others do business. So almost by accident, I would say I ended up in the joint business. All my clients, 95%, come from joint activity with other advisors, AJ. So, but how do I get those? Well, I have pretty good street creds, and I speak at industry association meetings. I also teach. I've taught in the olden days, back in '95, I guess I was a a LEAP trainer, LEAP. I was the lead trainer in the LEAP system, teaching the advanced LEAP, which I basically created. Then I was an LBS trainer, Living Balance Sheet, which is a Guardian product. And I also I'm out here actually in Utah teaching right now, but I'm teaching about linguistics to a bunch of advisors, anywhere from 1 year to 20 years in the business. And I think that when I'm in front of people, they go, "Oh, he's a really bright guy. I think I know what he does, and I'm going to bring him out on cases." I just completed my term as the president of the Forum 400, which is top life insurance producers in the United States. And I engineered the merger of the Forum 400 into FinSecca. So I have a very good identity in FinSecca, which is the merger of Gamma and ALU, and now NALBA. I don't know if you knew that, AJ. I think you did. Yeah. So, I like paying it forward. And as a result of that, I think that's how I do a good portion of my business. And unlike Bobby and Glenn, I wake up in the morning and I hit the snooze button once, twice, maybe a few more times. Like that, I don't, I have a puppy now. The puppy licks my face and says, "Get up, I have to pee." But other than that, life is pretty good. But I have a bunch of jobs and I treat them all seriously. I tell people I have 4 full-time jobs. Maybe I have friends that say, cut all that other stuff out and you'll quadruple your business you do, but I don't really care. I'm at the tail end of a career. I think I have another 20 years to go, but I'm not playing the game like I did when I was, let's say, 35. Matter of fact, I never hit the snooze button until one day I was dating a girl who always hit the snooze button. And it's amazing how quickly that forms a habit. So avoid people who like to hit the snooze button, because then it becomes like your life.
Thanks, Vince. Harry, you fly a little lower under the radar, yet maintain a real high level of success. Give us a little insight on how you find your target market, and how you've been able to reach more sophisticated networks.
So, I think what I share with everyone here is that we're all blessed, but I do have a very different CV than most of the guys on the session here. I have 0 designations other than the requisite licenses, other than what I call a CLE, which is a certificate in life experience. I ran a $100 million defense electronics business. I went through the family crises, been divorced, remarried, dealing with stepkids. So I've lived through almost all of the planning issues that we talk to clients about. And I've built a business owner consulting firm, which is what my primary role is with most of my clients, where I'm actually helping them strategically grow their businesses. That's M&A activity, workouts, restructuring, succession planning. And only, like Bobby said, only years into the relationship am I really targeting the high-end insurance strategies after I've already made them money. But most of the clients that I get for either life insurance or the consulting, where, like I said, most of my efforts are, I get on the golf course. I play a lot of golf. I wake up early, but not to work. I work out, I train, I practice golf. And I use what I learned early in this business is that the whole COI thing is kind of overrated if you're just targeting COIs without a way to build relationships with them. So what I basically tell people is I've got a lot of high-end golf courses that I either belong to or play regularly. And I tell my COIs, I'll pay for you to come play, whether it's Sabonic or Meadowbrook or the price of entry is bring a couple of people I want to meet. Now, that doesn't mean prospects necessarily. I met my ESOP partner playing golf that way, and I've gotten a lot of business through the ESOP world. It's actually, and I think the best thing I could say is that I want to become the trusted advisor in the client's life. Only that, so that when I make a recommendation, They're not asking their CPA or their lawyer or someone else. I'm at the top of the pyramid. And that's what I built with the clients that I have. You know, I think we looked at it the other day. We help clients manage over $500 million worth of business assets, not liquid assets, but businesses that I'm directly involved in managing for those clients. And that's really how we build the pipeline for the insurance, which is kind of a Trojan horse, if you will, of becoming the trusted advisor, getting paid for that handsomely, and then ultimately also doing the planning that includes high-end insurance strategies.
Thanks, Harry. I'm just observer here, right? And it's the old adage, what I'm hearing over and over and over again, is that you have to give something in order to get something, right? You're creating value for your client or your center of influence or someone in your network before you are getting 6 and 7 figure premiums in return. They don't just happen, right? You have embedded yourself into the lives or the businesses of your clients and then rewarded with large ticket cases. I'm going to move on to permanent insurance, right? So if you haven't heard this, once, you've heard it 100 times in our industry. The old adage, the life insurance is not bought, it's sold, right? And as I mature in our business, I seem to believe in that, although styles are different. I don't think wealthy people like to be quote unquote sold, but your phones aren't ringing for $25 million survivorship policies. You are working your clients, you are embedding yourselves in their lives, and then you're solving a problem. So, Glenn, in 1 minute or less, describe how do you sell permanent life insurance?
So first of all, I apologize. I disagree with what you said. From my standpoint, when we plan with our clients, we are crazy about planning. Like, we look at everything, the whole old Leap stuff and e-money, and we put it together. And I have the full e-money version. I don't use the dumbed down version that was, sold by a lot of different insurance companies. And when you do everything from soup to nuts, and what time they pee in the middle of the night, okay, it is very easy for the client to see naturally how life insurance benefits themselves, their families, their estates, and everything. And so I don't think I've ever sold a policy in 32 years in the business. I think that, life insurance has naturally been purchased, and asked, to finalize with the clients because they see the strategy and how it fits into their world. And so, that's my thought about that.
Glenn, I remember you telling me you do not ever work with a client until they complete a full e-money profile.
That's correct. I won't do it. It's not worth it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to look, there's 2,500 life insurance companies out there. I'm not going to tell you I don't have my favorites, right? There's a few companies I sell a lot more than the others. But the reality is, I do sell, as a lot of whole life insurance. And, some of the, I think I wrote 2 of the largest premiums with 2 different companies. I know I did, not think. And so, when it comes to, the products, if you don't do e-money and the client, it's like kind of like, if you're in an investment business, which I think you're crazy if you're in the investment business and try to be in the life insurance business, either you're in the life insurance business, you do financial planning, or you're in the investment business, you do financial planning. You really can't do all the above. There's no way you can be an expert in everything. And so I will not, no way will I sit down and do any planning for, any sale for a client without actually doing any planning and understanding everything that's going on in the world. And, my billionaire client, one of them, I have 2 on the Forbes 40 list, and I have one that's worth 3.3 billion. I was just with him last week playing golf with him, and he was pissed off at me when I made him do a budget, and I said, I don't care. You got to do a budget. I need to do proper planning for you. And I'm not going to be able to do it without at least having an understanding of what you're spending.
Thanks, Glenn. Harry, how do you sell permanent life insurance?
I said it in the beginning of the discussion. It's the most underutilized, most tax efficient asset class out there. I don't sell it based on fear. It's all about aspirations. It's an asset that you're leaving to your family. And to use one of the cases we did last year, and it was financed, clients paying $1 million a year for 15 years of interest at life expectancy, assuming all the assumptions pan out, there's almost $300 million of triple tax-free death benefit. If I showed the client any other asset that created that net worth, it's a no-brainer, whether it's a building, a stock, any other asset class. I removed the life insurance lingo and just sell it as a tax-efficient asset class. And one of the things I do early on in the relationship with the client in my consulting world is that I talk very early on about the problem in the life insurance industry where compensation pits the client's best interest against the agent's best interest. And we get that out of the way early on, because lots of people have been taught, oh yeah, you're buying life insurance because your agent's going to make a lot of money. So we go through that early, get it out of the way, and show the client, again, here's an asset, call it a radish. I don't care what you call it. It's the most tax efficient asset out there. And it's not, not about selling life insurance. It's about taxes. And one last point, as we all know, January 2026 tax rates are going up. It makes it a more efficient asset class.
Thanks, Eric. Bobby, how do you sell permanent life insurance?
There's something unique. We can't hear Bobby.
I'm going to ask you to unmute here, Bobby. There you go.
Am I unmuted now?
You're good. How do you sell permanent life insurance, Bobby?
Well, I'm going to agree with the last couple of comments. It's a very efficient asset class. So, life insurance in the way I'm doing, it's either sold on a need or agreed basis. And I also agree with the part when you're doing the investment side of it, they're usually our biggest, in my world anyway, because if I'm dealing with the high-end athletes and, the biggest person I'm dealing with is the business manager or the accountant. But we're really selling it as an asset class and tax-free income. And as I tell everyone, I show them what I do. So most of my clients want to know what I'm doing. And I'm saying, here's how I set it up for me. It may or may not work for what you're doing, or you might work it a little bit differently. And you're probably not going to have as much insurance as I do. Most people will turn around and say, you know what, I have too much life insurance. And once I tell them that I have over $86 million of life insurance on myself, they usually eyebrow goes up and they're like, why? I'm saying, because I'm working on getting another 20, so I'm over 100. So that's how I usually present it, Anthony. It's really an asset class to me on the income side. And if you're looking for death benefit, you can't cover your death benefit with term. So it's need or greed.
Thanks, Bobby. Vince, you've sold a couple permanent policies in your career. How do you sell permanent life insurance?
So I guess the answer to that question is that the world, like the world we live in, thinks that life insurance's purpose ends at, let's say, retirement age 65.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be true for people who are heaped up around, average income in the United States. But once you move into the world of the top 2%, which is $250,000 of combined family income, or 1%, which is roughly about $400,000, there's a need for life insurance post 65. Buying term and invested difference actually works if you're looking at a period of time under 20 years. But once you need life insurance beyond that, and it doesn't take much to have people understand there's value in having death benefit beyond 65. And once they do that, then the question is, what's the lowest cost product? Not price, but the lowest cost product, and that's whole life, which is fundamentally bulletproof without paid-up ads. It's just, it's by design. And 7702, where we could have underlying interest assumptions of somewhere between 2 and 3.75, actually puts the product in much better footing. But clients that own And you know something, I don't do much premium finance because I think it's a disaster waiting to happen. You know, that's my observation, having done this for 42 years. And the people who are doing it regularly are going to get hurt, or somebody's going to get hurt. I already know of some lawsuits that are just epic in size. But reverse financing, I think, is fine. So if you buy whole life insurance and you build up cash value, you can always lever that externally. I very rarely lever in the policy because I want a tax deduction for the loan interest. And people can buy business interests and real estate and things like that and still have the fundamental guarantees of a whole life policy where the cash value can never go down regardless of circumstance. So, you know, I sell death benefit. The most efficient death benefit, I believe, is whole life insurance. And then it has other features that make it valuable.
Thanks, Vince. So you turn on the news this morning and you see Russia invades Ukraine. Some countries recognize that, some don't. You see the effect on the stock market. We could be slipping into a correction. Personally, I feel that our specific industry, the life insurance industry, has already been in a recession for several years. Carriers have been challenged with extraordinarily low interest rates, further exacerbated by COVID. We've experienced 8 price increases to certain death benefit products. The GUL product line is all but gone. We've seen major carriers just leave the retail life insurance product line altogether. And it's concerning. So, you know, I asked the panel, right? You are undoubtedly 4 very successful producers. So, Bobby, how do you view the industry in the short term? Are you bullish? Are you bearish? And why do you state that position?
I don't necessarily look at it the same, Anthony. I guess I don't look at the economics the way you're looking at it. There's a need out there for our products. The need has gone up significantly, in my opinion. It will continue to stay that way. I think the insurance companies do get nervous with how many carriers are left out there. But the insurance company is also very resilient, and they always come up with different ways to do things. Like, I haven't sold VUL in I don't know how many years, and now here I am selling VUL again with the underlying guarantee. So I do feel that the insurance industry will hopefully doesn't consolidate much more because we need the carriers. I think the product mix will find its way. And then us as producers are out there. You know, all of us have been in the business for a while, have seen many, many changes where the end of the industry was imminent, right? Everyone was like, oh, we're in all kinds of trouble. The industry's changing. What are we going to do next? But there's always a product that comes out. There's always a company that comes out. And there's always a way that we continue to go forward. Like the typical life insurance guy waking up in January broke, right? Where's the premium going to come from this year? You know, it just always seems to happen. The world evolves. So I'm not really concerned about it at all. Don't even think about it.
Head down and keep grinding.
That's it.
Glenn, any thoughts on this subject? Short-term outlook of the industry?
I am similar to Bobby in the fact that, look, I'm very bullish on this industry. I think that short-term, long-term, look, I'm in the business 32 years.
We're meeting with Marcus Bach.
All of us have been on the, in this business for a while, and there's 2,500 companies, give or take, whatever. They keep coming, they go, and they bring back different products. And as long as you're doing proper planning for the client, I'm going to just keep harping on that. And you're dealing with, especially when you're dealing with high net worth clients, they're going to have a need. Taxes are going to come, they're going to go, they're going to keep changing. And the Republic's going to get in, and Democrats are going to get in, and the world is going to keep changing one way or the other. So you have to be around to handle whatever is going on with the client's world at that moment. So I think there's going to always be products, is my personal opinion. Look, even if they're not a high net worth individual, you're just dealing with the regular everyday person.
Marcus Bach at 1:30.
You can put yourself in a situation where there's always going to need to protect the family. They got to protect their family. They got to protect their others. They got to protect unforeseen, or unexpected tragedies that happen in their life. And no, I don't see any negativity. I'm excited about it.
Harry, where do you see this going in the short term?
As you know, I'm an optimist at nature, but I do have to make a point that I think there've been some changes in the industry lately that you're not recognizing as being very bullish. And the 7702 changes a little bit over a year ago in the space I'm in were huge in terms of generating better rates of return inside of policies, whether that's whole life, which, as you know, I spent 5 years in Mass Mutual, and I've got my views about why I've left, or IUL, where you get to significantly add more funding. I think that creates a much better long-term strategy for the client. And I do have to, be a little contentious here that, in our country, wealth has been created with the proper utilization of debt for any asset class, and the proper utilization of debt for any asset class, including life insurance, is a wealth creation tool. So to say that it's, ripe for disaster, I think is a very pedestrian view of how to use properly structured debt to buy any asset. It's like saying, you have to pay off your mortgage soon because, you don't want to have the debt. Properly sophisticated clients who understand the value of what's gone on with 7702, the fact that low interest rates mean they're paying low cost of capital on the debt today, correlates also in the future. Higher interest rates mean their cost of ownership is higher, but caps will go up, dividend rates will go up. So it's an arbitrage. Clients who understand the debt market understand that what we're doing with financing is an arbitrage. When rates are low, the caps are low. When rates go up, caps will go up. And they're just arbitraging cost of capital. So, I think it's a very optimistic long-term market.
Thanks, Harry. Obviously different perspectives from different spirited folks, and there's probably some crossover in the right ways to do these things and the wrong ways to do these things. And I'm gonna. It's a great segue to the next topic, in that some challenges facing the industry today and selling life insurance includes the free insurance design, right? I see three come across my desk a week, or the the private equity firm looking to get their hands on the surplus of life insurance companies. So, just passing this back to the panel, and Harry, will stay with you. What are some of the challenges you see facing the industry today in selling life insurance?
The only challenge when I got into this, and it's still there, is the stigma of selling life insurance. And I think, again, that comes from the compensation model. I think Bobby mentioned it before. It comes from the agents that, need to sell insurance to pay their mortgage this month. And I don't think that's any of us, but it's that stigma of, I don't want to be the life insurance guy because there's so many life insurance guys that have a bad reputation. And that's going to be there forever. I don't think it affects any of us. And, my only challenge is meeting more of the right people. I don't think it's an industry challenge. I think what we talk about goes so far over the head of the client base that any one of us could sell any of the other one's products efficiently and effectively to the same client base, because it does come back to what Glenn said before. It's having the plan, being the trusted advisor, and them knowing that you're the guy that's going to have their best interests ahead of yours. And that's really what, drives the client relationship.
Harry, are you suggesting life insurance guys are just not cool?
I've seen a lot of bad life insurance designs in the few years I've been in it.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. Vince, some of the challenges facing the industry today in selling life insurance from your perspective.
So I think, leaving aside product design, for which I have very, very strong opinions, the life insurance the whole industry hangs on three thin threads: the ability to get tax-deferred growth under cash value, the income tax-free death benefit, and the ability to remove death proceeds from the estate. So I'm a member of FinSeca, and I've been a member of AALU for the bulk of my career. And I will tell you that the most dangerous threat to our industry is tax legislation. And it doesn't take much to really have a wrecked business. And there are a lot of people that are on this call that are free riders. There's somebody like me and by the way, I hate politicians. I hate them with deep passion. And I still support AALU, FinSeca's attempt to get their ear. And so I spend roughly $24,000 on lobbying to particular congressional candidates so they can listen to us and, keep the law the way it is. That's the biggest threat. I mean, look, agents do stupid things and agents can't do math. And ultimately, they're going to design structures that are going to fall apart and they'll be happy because they make tons of money. But the reality is that all that stuff is noticed by Congress. And what do we have, a $41 trillion deficit or something insane like that? That money's got to come from somewhere. AALU finally got life insurance off the tax expenditure list maybe 7 years ago. I think it might have been AJ. I don't remember exactly, but something like that. But it doesn't take anything to put it back on. And I know that everybody on this call was familiar with all the negative tax law that could have happened in 2021 that seemed to have been pulled out, and then other worse laws came back in. But then Manchin destroyed the Build Back Better thing, which was an economic disaster. But the reality is that every single one of those changes could be done by regulation without law changes, right? So our vigilance to keep our business where it is makes a big difference. I could say, look, I'm 64, I don't care anymore. But, I think that what we do is really important, and being able to do it the way we do it is really important. And if you look at other countries, Canada has most of the stuff that guys are doing with premium finance. If they were in Canada, it would all go bye-bye, all of it, because of the way the tax structure works in Canada. That's our closest neighbor. You could think of that as a party hat on top of the United States, but they're reasonable people. They also have massive debt. You look at England, where they took away the ability to earn commissions, and you could only sell life insurance on a fee, and the total amount of cover that's been sold now for individuals is about 25% of what it was prior to the change from commissions to fees. And you look at Australia, and you have legislation that eliminated all forms of permanent insurance. You can only buy term insurance in Australia. Like literally, you can only buy, and by the way, it's yearly renewable term in Australia. So, I worry about the industry at large from a perspective of legislation. And then, as I said, agents do stupid things and they don't understand they're doing stupid things. And that gets noticed, and that causes additional problems and additional legislation. And the Congress is a very vengeful group of people. My clients are rich. Everybody on this call has people that they do business with who are probably in the top 1%, which means, again, $400,000 combined family income. It's not these horribly big numbers that politicians pretend they are. It's like most of our regular people are the top 1%. And when the government legislates against us, it's going to affect our entire business. So the pitch actually is join FinSeca, so that way we have one unified, and that was part of the goal of merging Form 400 into FinSeca. You want a unified message to Congress. You want to act like a big body. We're representing a lot of people in America, and that's the game. This is the stuff I worry about, AJ. I don't worry about the next case I'm going to write. I'm always going to do business. I've been in business 42 years. I've seen stuff that looks as bad as what could be happening today 5 times. It all ends up okay in the long run until they legislate us out of existence.
Well said. Well said. All right, moving on to a little bit of a reason to be positive.
I thought I was positive.
Glenn, give us something to look forward to.
I just want to, first of all, I know we're running out of time. I want to tap into that biggest challenge because I also am a little concerned about one thing, which is, being that I do write a lot of premium financing, I'm very, very concerned as the way that they're being sold. And I think that that's definitely going to hurt the industry as a whole. I think it's going to also hurt the industry, from a standpoint of the people that are selling it have not shown the client how to do a proper exit strategy. They're showing the client they can take all the money out of the policy, pay off the loan, and that the policy is going to be, still, $50 or $100 million in death benefit later on in life, and it's going to take care of their family and everything's going to be perfectly fine. I think Harry did mention earlier, a properly funded, and that's really the key, is that, if you're trying to use an exit strategy out of the policy, you're really going to probably destroy the policy down the road. And so I only do premium financing when I'm showing clients using a totally separate asset class as an exit strategy. And I think that's really a bigger difference than what's being done, as free insurance right now. So that's, my quick little negative, thing that I'm concerned about from a biggest challenge. And I do agree with Vince about the legislative, if it takes one tax change, we're done. We're done. And so, I don't get $24,000 a year. I think I give closer to 15 or 16, but you got to be involved, no question, in our industry. And going and actually lobbying, I go once a year with another group and I lobby, and then I always make sure I go to the life insurance people so I can go talk to them as well, even though I'm talking about some other lobbying I'm doing with them, and it's very important to do it. So I agree with that. Being positive, look, I love our industry. We've been very blessed, 32 years in the business. Vince, 42. The other guys have been in the business for a while. I think it's been incredible that we have the opportunity to meet with our clients and become their psychiatrists and get in their heads and be able to really help them out and show the client how life insurance can be an amazing solution to take care of their family, their estate taxes, their favorite charities, all the above. And it's a lot of fun. And if we're excited about it and we teach our clients that life insurance is a great thing and it's an amazing asset class, then there's nothing else that can stop us from really helping our clients forever and ever and ever. So I said earlier, I'm bullish on it. I feel very blessed in the business. I think we have a lot to offer, and I think it's great. So,
Bobby, give us a reason to be positive about our industry and selling life insurance.
Well, first, I'll agree with both Glenn and Harry. I think that the majority of guys out there selling the premium finance, the stuff I come across out there, should really be outlawed with this free insurance strategy that's out there. No money out of pocket, no anything. So that is one thing that does scare me out there, because I think when the smell starts going around, it gets on everyone for the people who just destroy it. But I'm positive on the life insurance industry for exactly what we've seen. We just went through probably the most horrific time in my lifetime over the last couple of years with this COVID stuff. And I've never had a better 2 years. So I just think that the market, and I do agree on the legislative side with everything going on, that is a concern. But at the end of the day, I put my head down, and I think that this market has never been better for us. I don't think the opportunity's ever been better. If you're a young person in the business, I think it's even better because I see less people, there's less opportunity out there right now with people coming in because of everything going on with the GAs and, how are people getting into the industry? So now who's our competition? We're competing against, the wirehouse guys, the bank guys, a guy coming in and out of the business. But the competition level out there has gone down significantly, in my opinion, with respect to who is ultimately selling it, right? And they're selling more of a product, in my opinion. They don't really understand how the products work. So the positiveness, if you want to really become a student and really learn something, the amount of money you can make in this business while doing great things for your clients is endless. You're the only one that cap it. You cap what you can do. That's why I see as positive out there, Anthony. I just see that there's not enough people out there that want to work. So if you want to work and you want to be assertive out there, the opportunity to take care of your family and build a real business is unbelievable right now.
Well said. So as we come up to to the 1 o'clock mark here in the East Coast. Let's get a couple parting, just maybe one parting question. We've done a pretty good job answering the questions from the audience as we go. I've been able to weave them into a lot of the discussion. But Harry, no doubt, you've been a visionary. You've modified your practice over the years. You've seen different tax laws and different economic conditions. We're talking about a very significant deficit and rising. We're certainly, as a country, spending more than we're collecting. We're looking at potential interest rate hikes. Inflation has been the highest in 40 years. We do see a sunset of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act in 2026. So, I ask you, where do you see the industry 5 years from now? Right? What are we looking at in 2027 and beyond?
I don't want to get too far into the political debate as an example of whether or not the debt level of the country is a real problem. I don't believe it is. But I think Glenn said it before also, all of these changes that go on in life, whether it's tax law changes, inflation, anything that's happening, all provides us with more opportunity because we're the trusted advisor to the clients. So as long as you have that relationship with your client, when all these changes come up, whether it's the sunsetting of the tax laws, which drive a need for more life insurance because estate tax exemptions go down, or any of those things, we're the ones that the clients are going to call, and we have to maintain that relationship with those clients. Inflation, I think for our client base, and this is something I argue with a lot of the pedestrian advisors a lot, inflation is a good thing for our market. Business owners, people who own assets, love inflation because the cost of ownership goes up, but the value of the asset goes up faster than the cost of ownership. So a lot of things that the press counts as negatives, I view as positives. The more assets rise and the net worths of our clients rise with increased taxation and the sunsetting of the tax cut regulations, drive the need for more planning, more death benefit. I'm a little less concerned about this ever going away. I think it's an industry that's here to stay and there's a real need for it. So, I think 5 years from now, we're going to be talking about what's happening with the next tax law change or interest rates staying low. I know I've been 100% wrong for the last 7 years about where interest rates were going. I may finally be getting it right that they're going up, but that's part of our role as advisors to our clients is to just take all of these changes, figure out what it means for their future.
Thanks, Harry. Vince,
Anthony,
yeah.
Anthony, I apologize. I allotted till 1 o'clock, brother. I got to walk into a meeting right now. So I'm gonna give the rest of my time to one of the other guys. I really apologize, Anthony.
Thanks,
There's
Bobby.
a shock.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Bobby.
Yeah. All right,
Appreciate
all right, thanks, guys. Sorry, guys. Great seeing everybody.
Thank you.
So Vince, I'd like to turn this to you and same question, right? The economic conditions are certainly changing. Where do you see our industry in 5 years? And then we're going to go just over, if anyone can stay for a couple extra minutes. There's one question I can't ignore, which I think is just fantastic and could wrap the call and put a little bow on it. So Vince, first, where do you see this and where do you see this going?
I think, well, first of all, Glenn keeps referring to 2,800. That just shows you how long he's been in the business. There's actually there's under 800 insurance companies left, which most people don't know because I learned that there were 2,800 when I started too, but it's like under 800. And I think there's going to be companies that are just going to go belly up. I do. I think that there's interesting things happening on their balance sheets. There are guarantees that can't be met. It would have been fine if interest rates stayed low for 5 years. Not so good when it's 20. In Japan, the federal government in Japan bailed out the insurance industry when interest rates went negative for God knows how long. I think they're still unbelievably low. And here's the thing, we have a big job as life insurance people, big job. We have to really understand, the products and how they really work when they're dissected. And I think that most people would be surprised when they actually learn that. And then the other thing is they have to make sure they're dealing with companies that have real money on their books, like real assets, not like circular captive arrangements where the parent is, reinsuring the offshore captive. I mean, eventually everybody dies, right? So you got to be able to have real money to pay benefits. I think there were challenges that, and by the way, Anthony, I'm not sure this is 100% true, but it could very well be. If there's 380,000 life insurance producers in the United States, plus or minus maybe 10,000, and half of them are in the BD world, where they're, I call them licenses of convenience, where they're selling a VA every now and then, or a VUL product. The rest are, let's say 180,000. Half of those are new in the last 5 years. Like, if the attrition rate in the industry is like 85%, 90%, you got half the industry is brand spanking new and has no experience at all. Like not a clue as to what the products actually do, the history of life insurance, how companies get into trouble. Like, they have no idea. And so we have a big job. And the people who are successful are still going to remain successful. And there will be people who are going to leave because they're going to leave. I think that it doesn't matter what the economic times are. The need for death benefit is always going to be there. Even in countries when there's, terrible tax consequences for the product, people still buy life insurance. And, I figure that as long as I have left, I'm going to be selling lots of life insurance.
Well said. So there's one question. We're coming off script here a little bit, but there's one question from the audience that I just can't ignore because it's so good. If you can jump in your time machine and go back 20 years, what would be one thing that you would do differently that would have had a positive effect on your current business? And we'll just go around the horn. We'll start with Harry.
Well, so first of all, I wasn't in the business 20 years ago. I think where we are today in believing in permanent insurance and the cash value growth of the tax-free cash value growth is what I would have focused on early on, and just getting clients to, pardon the French, fund the heck out of any policy they could get.
More emphasis on accumulation vehicles.
Yeah. One of my good friends is my poster child for life insurance. He's 80 years old. He bought two $100,000 Northwest Mutual whole life policies about 50 years ago, paid not a lot into them, and is now pulling out 40 grand a year of tax-free retirement income. And his only regret is, why didn't the guy try and get me to do more of it?
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing would be having the conviction of getting clients to fund the hell out of more policies as big as they could back then.
Yeah. Glenn, one thing that you would have done differently 20 years ago that would have had a positive impact on your current business?
I would say 20 years ago, nothing differently. Like, thank God a billion times, my business has been, what a huge blessing over the last 20 years. And so if you said to me, would I go back 32 years ago, what I would have done differently? Sid Friedman, beat me up one day and he said, Glenn, are you crazy? You're selling health insurance? And I listened to him and I gave away my health insurance over about a 12-month period of time. I just gave it all away. And so think about this, 32 years ago, 30 years ago, actually, at the time I did this, I had $4,000 a month of health insurance commissions coming in. I gave it away just because Sid told me to do it over a 12-month period of time. And my life insurance commissions then doubled because I was just focused on one thing. Then he came a year later and told me, okay, now let's see what you can do about getting rid of your investment business. And I did the exact same thing. And then my life insurance commissions doubled again. And so I think that you really have to be hyper-focused on being the best at one thing. You know, I don't think, and Vince will correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think I've ever heard you talk about an investment ever. And I think it's the same thing with me. I don't talk about investments. I am in the financial planning business who happens to sell life insurance. And if it comes to investments, I'll hand it to somebody else or just walk away from it. I'm hyper-focused on what I do and nothing else.
Vince?
So since 1979, I've changed my practice 5 times, perhaps, AJ, trying to meet the market that was going to be ahead of me. So I don't think in the last 20 years, I would have had a material change, except I might have built an organization, a different, instead of becoming a lone wolf sole practitioner, I might have built an organization. I might have done what Glenn did, right? That's the only thing I would have done differently. But there's something, I like being a salesman. I like selling things. I don't want to be a boss. So I don't think there would have been major changes, but I might have, built an organization below me that would have made my life a little easier. That's it.
Well done.
And AJ, I also have to leave because I'm teaching a class. I had to step out.
Vince, thank you for your participation. Glenn, thank you for your participation. Harry, thank you. You gentlemen were very gracious with your time and your information. And, this is a pay it forward moment. It is also a personal favor to me and to Life Brokerage. Associating with your names and your reputation is no doubt a boost to our business. So I thank you, and our team thanks you. We are 10 minutes over. There are a couple unanswered questions, which I will address individually. And if I need to get back out to the panel for answers, I will certainly do that. But again, thank you for attending. We had a wonderful participation. This video, this webinar was recorded. It will be distributed by the close of business today. And I thank you all. Stay safe and have a terrific Thursday.
All the best. Take care. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Take care.